We are very honored to have the mayor of the city of Topeka with us, Michelle de la Isla, and I would ask her to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the April 18th, 2019 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone. Morning. First item of business, please.
First items are the proclamations presentations. Number 1, presentation regarding Winter Wonderland. Sherry Lundry, TARC.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby with Parks and Recreation. Before I introduce Sherry, I just want to say how proud I am and our department to be partnered with TARC and for all what they do for the community. And this event started in 1998. And I was lucky enough to be part of that when it started. And it's grown so much over 21 years that I think it's just a super partnership for all of Shawnee County, the city of Topeka. And with that, I'll turn it over to Sherry Lundry.
And where's the...
There isn't any sound, so you don't have to worry about that. We did it intentionally that way. First of all, I'd like to thank you all very, very much for all you do for us. We couldn't do all of this without you all, and it was our 21st year, and this year we raised $189,000, let me say that again, $189,096.85. We had 11,462 vehicles go through 86 buses, and over 500 volunteers for 1,665 hours of volunteer time given to the event. We are so appreciative of the help that we get from the county and from Parks and Rec. They do a fabulous job of helping us set up, the park police helping us, and we just couldn't do it without you. And all the money that we raise goes back to the programs and the folks that we serve at TARC. 90 cents of every dollar donated is put directly into the programs that we provide for those folks. We only have a 10% overhead, so admin fee at TARC for every donation that comes in. So we are very pleased and excited to further the partnership and hope that it goes on for many, many years. And like I said, we couldn't do it without all of you all, so thank you all very, very much. I want to give a shout out to Sean and Riley and Park Police and Mike Hutley and all those folks who do such good work for us, because we, like I said, it's only Bree and I, one other young lady and myself out there with them every day. So we are grateful for all the help that we get and for your support. So thank you very much.
It's our pleasure, Sherry.
Thank you.
What a great partnership. Commissioners, any thoughts?
I just want to thank you and your staff for all that you do and the service you provide for a very special population here in Shawnee County, so thank you.
And I agree completely. Just again, the volunteer work hours that go in, all of the work from the park, all the park staff that help out, and I know that, a couple of years ago, Randy said there were millions of lights, and now we can say there are millions of lights. I'm after it. You're after it now.
We're just honored to be doing what we do. I feel like I have one of the best jobs in the whole world. There are challenges. We had a lot of weather challenges this past year. A lot of rain, which really we prefer snow, but rain is a problem. But we worked through it, and we did a great. Everything went very well. So again, I can't say and sing the praises of your staff enough. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll let this, it's almost over, I think. Yeah, there we go. Stop it. Okay. I'll let, I Can't get it to stop.
There's no brakes.
I thought I
on it.
stopped it. And I had to escape. Oh, there, I couldn't see the, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't find the.
Thank you again. Next item of business, please.
Item 2 under Proclamations Presentation, check presentation by the American Association of Retired Persons to the Parks for All Foundation and Shawnee County Parks and Recreation for future improvements at Ripley Park.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Deputy Director, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Department. I'm excited to be here this morning to recognize the Aarp of Kansas and all they do to help improve the quality of life for the residents of Shawnee County and Topeka. As part of their national campaign to improve the livability of communities, Aarp of Kansas wishes to donate $5,000 to Ripley Park for the purchase of an expression swing. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's a piece of playground equipment that adults and children can use at the same time. It's a swing. It promotes intergenerational play, and we think it will be a great addition to Ripley Park. Having said that, I would like to invite Dr. Marin Turner of Aarp of Kansas, the director of Aarp of Kansas, as well as the mayor of the city of Topeka, Michelle De La Isla, to the podium and ask them to say a few words.
Good morning. My name is Marin Turner, and I'm the State Director for Aarp Kansas, and I am really excited to be here today. This has been a long time coming, but we are so excited about this opportunity. Aarp is working across the country with mayors and also here in the state to help to make communities more livable. We're working on issues like transportation and housing and trying to make sure that people are engaged in their communities, and we're also working on outdoor spaces like parks so that people can come and interact and enjoy each other's company and get a little exercise. And so it's in that spirit that we approached the mayor last year to talk about what are some things that we can do here in Topeka that could help to make the community more livable. And when she identified Ripley Park, we thought that's perfect. And so I'm really happy that our money is going to get used. The expressions swing is a really good example of the intergenerational physical activity that people can engage in, and it's just with pleasure that we make this donation to the park.
Well, Commissioners, thank you so much for the honor of being here and being your guest. This all started because, as you all know, one of the things that we have been doing is, with my community team, is going out to neighborhoods and hearing out what the neighborhoods and the children and everybody wants to see. And when we visited Ripley Park, it was amazing to see all the kids come out and talk about how they really wanted to see things happen in their park. And this was their dream, not ours. And when I said, hey, it's okay, this is with the county, but we are sister organizations that we share resources. And this is just one example. I want to say thank you to all of you for having a mechanism for us to be able to make this pass through. And I want to thank all of you for the great work that you continue doing for our community. Commissioner Archer and Commissioner Cook, Commissioner Rippon, I really appreciate your service. Thank you so much.
Can we, well, let's have comments if anyone makes comments. I wanted to get a picture of all. This commission always takes opportunities to take pictures with important people. So if we can do that, but do you have comments for the mayor and AARP representative?
Well, I think this is a good project, and it's a park that could use a leg up, and we've made a few improvements over the last few years, but it needs some help, and this will go a long ways for helping the park out. So thank you. Thank you very much.
And I might just ask, what are some of the things you heard about Ripley Park? I know that you and I have had conversations about Ripley Park, but what are some of the things you've heard from Ripley Park, or some of the unique things you learned about Ripley Park?
There's a large amount of children that live in the apartment complex that actually make use of the park. And not only are the children interested in seeing it, the requests that the kids made were not big requests. They were saying that they wanted to see if we could have something like an ADA accessible swing. They wanted to have rubber mulch. They said if we wanted to, if they would be willing to help us paint and revitalize the park. And I'm excited that we're going to be able to do some things immediately after they said that. But the other cool thing that people may not know is that the Indian community in Topeka plays cricket there. And while we were over there, you have a lot of individuals from the Indian community just there engaging with the kids and just playing cricket. So it's a very vibrant place.
And I think that we are working on having maybe some cricket tournaments come.
Yes.
And hosting cricket tournaments at Ripley Park. And so bringing additional tax dollars in community and exposure to Ripley Park.
All right, pitch time.
Somebody send me the picture.
Thank you. We've done this before.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Next item of business, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there questions or comments on the consent agenda? There were 2 items.
I would move for approval as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay, under allocations, East Topeka Council on Aging, Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging, and Positive Connections, Inc., total $41,863.50. Detention facility, $285,312.63. And under holding accounts, Kansas Director of Vehicles, we had electronic transfer of $103,593.08. Total vouchers as of April 17th, 2019, $645,087.21. And I move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve correction orders by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, corrections number 1, consider approval of resolution 2019-22, adopting the inmate handbook for the adult detention center and the juvenile handbook for the juvenile detention center.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Phelps with the Department of Corrections. I was asked to give a little bit of a background explanation for why this item's been put on the agenda. What we're doing is trying to increase our visibility, our transparency, and so we are putting these matters, these handbooks that govern the way we manage the inmates and the juveniles in our custody, onto our website so that that information is available to the public. And specifically, we are also wanting to make sure that our grievance and complaint procedures are public, so that there's not going to be any question about what the folks need to do if they have any conflict they need resolved. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any additional questions you have.
Questions for Major Phelps? Commissioner Cook, I'm sure you have something to
Just
discuss.
how long it had been since we updated the inmate handbook, or?
Well, since we, back in the early 2000s, we began the process of becoming accredited. And as part of that process, we had to develop a rotation. And I think the standard is that once every 3 years, you refresh and make sure that any changes that have been made in operations are articulated in your inmate handbooks, and so that's what we do. And this is the latest of the 3-year cycles.
And so this is part of the accreditation process for the adult correctional facility?
And the juvenile detention center, yes, sir.
Good. No additional questions?
Okay. No questions. How is this information communicated?
Well, as far as within our operation, every inmate or juvenile that is booked into our custody is given a copy of the handbook.
Okay.
And they are encouraged to review it because the rules that are in there are what will govern any disciplinary action directed to them.
Right.
And also gives them notices how things should flow within the facility. And now it's with this action, and even independent of this action, we publish this on our website as under the sections of policies and procedures.
Okay, good.
And it's both in English and Spanish.
I was glad to see it on the agenda items with attachments, and I don't have any additional questions. I'll move to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Tim. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to award a bid to Playscape Recreation LLC for the equipment and installation of 11 pool cabanas at Midwest Health Aquatic Center at a cost of $5,361 each, for a total of $58,971 with funding from the 2015 COP funds and authorization and execution contract C-156A 2019 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Alaker, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. I was just told that I'm coming up here to talk to you, so bear with me. Is there any questions about this that you need to know? Do you need to know revenue? I know a lot of you guys like numbers. I have some numbers for you. I can rattle those off if you'd like.
I'm sure Commissioner Archer wants to know.
Oh,
revenue.
absolutely. What are the numbers?
Okay, so with these cabanas, we'll be able to host multiple birthday parties, not just a single. Each birthday party will have we're charging $150 for a 2-hour session. We did some research from 4 different states on these cabanas. Prices kind of amazed me. They range anywhere from $16 an hour to $60 an hour, and a minimum of 2 hours. Reviewing the Midwest, well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Day rates range from $69 to $125. That's weekday. Weekend rates range from $99 to $160. What we're reviewing for Midwest, we've thought about half-day rates, anywhere from $15 to $25, and that'll go from $12:30 to $3:30. Full-day rates, anywhere from $30 to $50, and that'll obviously be from $12:30 to 7. I did it a half hour after we opened. That way it'll give people time to come in and figure out if they want a cabana or not. If they come in and want to order it or rent it right when they do come in, then they can do that as well. That'll just be part of the full-day rate. I want to do some more research, and what I'm wanting to consider is obviously cabana size for the venue. I want to get with these other facilities that we've researched and see what size the cabana is. That way we can price accordingly. Also, I would like to have one set up. That way I can figure out what amenities I can put in this cabana. Some of them have 2 chases, a table, 4 chairs, seeing how we can stage it in order to get the most bang for the buck, I guess, or make the most experience for the patron. I want to make it an experience. And I also want to make it simple for my staff to rent these things out. That way we're not micromanaging these things. I have some systems in mind. As I said, I'd like to get it up and going prior to making a definite charge on this. Do you guys have any concerns or questions for me? And I'll try to answer them. Kind of rolled through that real quick.
I don't like the idea
Of
having cabanas. They're so big, I don't know that there's room for 11 cabanas out. I haven't seen a diagram
Okay.
that showed how that was possible. I don't like the idea. I don't think this is Miami Beach. I think it would be too crowded for the area. I think there's got to be other opportunities to spend $58,000 better. in Parks and Rec. That's my view. I will defer to Bill Rippon as far as what he thinks.
Have we used any cabanas in the past?
We have not.
We have not. Maybe we experiment with one
With
or two and see how that.
Would that?
I had the same concern as you did,
Okay.
Commissioner Archer.
But you didn't say that day.
Well, no, I was told to sell it. That was the last.
Got it. Okay.
So, now that we're on the same page, I had that concern too. I figured it'd be real clustered and real
Yep.
condensed, and actually, when we laid everything out, we'd have a set of 3 underneath the slide area. That will be, I have prime apple area for there. We'd have another 3 on the bottom side of the baby pool, and across from the baby pool, we'll have another 3, and we'd have 2 up by the concession area. With that spread out, I think it'll look pretty sharp, and we won't have to worry about the cluster and yeah, I'm trying to sell it, but I still agree with you
Okay.
on that. But I think it will work, and it will look decent, it won't look crowded, if that's one of your
Hey,
concerns.
Commissioner, maybe, if I might,
Yes, of course.
talk about the cabanas. I mean, when we talk about the word cabana, some people might envision something like you would see at Oceans of Fun, which is an actual concrete set, four-cornered, with the drapes that includes the Chase Lounge. Some go as fancy as having TVs in them and ceiling fans. Other locations are no more than just a pop-up tent that you might see that you would have bought at a, Academy Sports or a Dick's. So when we talk about the word cabana, what are you selling, for lack of a better word? I mean, you're using your word. What are you presenting to the commissioners that would cost the $5,000 per cabana? Does it include, what does the physical thing look like? What does it include as the amenities? Are there tables included? What does this cabana include?
These cabanas is actually specially designed for this area, so it's not something that you go to Sam's and buy and pop up. These will be actually a permanent fixture. They will be powder coated, and they'll be attached to the deck. The tops will be removed. They come in 10-foot sections, I think, 10 to 13-foot sections. We will put the canopy tops on them. They will match what we have, so they won't stick out. I dress up in a white shorts and Hawaiian shirt. No, I'm just kidding. That's kind of the basic what we were looking at.
Do we include Chase Lounges in them? Do we have?
We have
ceiling
Chase Lounges.
fans?
We have Chase, that's what I want to make sure they're set up, so what I can actually maximize what fits in there. We will have, obviously for the birthday parties, we'll have tables for that, but we can pull those tables out. We will have at least Chase Lounges in there, yes. I would like to fit a table and 4 chairs in there as well. That way, if they have snacks or whatever, they can bring it to the table. If they just want to chill and lounge out, they can do that as well. If they want to bring extra chases in, they're more than welcome to do that as well.
And I guess that's what we maybe look at, and I think maybe the hesitation, Commissioner, you might have is not knowing exactly what these are going to look like, where they sit within the facility,
Yeah.
how it's going to interact.
And I can give you that.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
give you an idea of that.
I think Commissioner Rippon's idea about, let's buy 3.
Okay?
And use it as a pilot to see how the community reacts to having the cabanas there, whether they're popular or never used. I mean, I don't want to spend $58,000
Oh, I agree.
on
I agree with you.
something that we're not more confident in.
Okay?
How about Commissioner, if we can defer this item to the 25th,
Sure.
giving the David Alker a week to put together
Draw
some
us some pictures, yeah.
pictures,
I don't know
diagram,
if
where
you want
would
me
this
to draw
sit?
pictures or not, but.
A
We'll get a layout.
redesign, a rework.
Okay.
I think you also need to address staffing costs, if there are going to be additional staff required at the facility. And then also, you might touch on either during administrative communications or even now, how are we doing on staffing? Because it's that time and we need to have.
See, I was wondering when you guys were going to ask on that one. We're getting there. We're sitting okay. I'm always looking for guards. We're getting there.
Okay.
We'll be fine. We always make it work.
Okay. But again, my motion would be to defer action on this until the 25th, allow staff to rework this internally, and then present maybe a different plan or the same plan with additional detail as requested by commissioners.
Particularly on the financial side.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I know shade is at a premium in places, and that, we don't have a lot of shade out there.
That's true.
And I know like at Gage Park, when we did that facility, and there, we had a lot of trees that we incorporated in the fence line, and it's amazing how many people flock to that area. So,
That's a good point.
shade is
Okay,
so
so can I ask you guys a question? Do we go a different direction and do like a cantilever, or do we do a cantilever umbrella? Do we look at a different type system? Or are you guys, what are you wanting from me?
Well,
I think that you are the Parks and Rec
excellent.
expert. I think you need to get with your staff and work this up with the staff. That's why we have the.
Perfect, I can do that.
Okay, very good. Motion made to defer for a week by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contracts C-157 and 157, 2019, and 158, 2019, with Kim and Richard Hawkard to serve as camp hosts at Lake Shawnee Campground and fulfill the requirements of the respective volunteer service with any applicable expenses covered by the operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. The item before you is so that we are able to have a campground volunteer host at our campground. The Kim and Richard Hochard had previously been at our camp area for many years and camped there, and they were the first to express when we put this contract out. This contract comes in play because of the 2014 federal law that came into play with different camp hosts across the states. I worked with Jonathan Berzon and County Councilor, and also with the State Park Director, Linda Latimer, and had insight from her on how to approach this contract so that we were in compliance with the federal rules that were in place. This is how we were able to come to this contract. We mirrored what the state had with the county councilor, and that's how we came to this contract process that we have in front of you. So I would be happy to answer any other questions you might have on this.
Questions for Sean?
I move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the contracts by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotations for the purchase of various pieces of motorized equipment, including 4 rear load chassis and compactor bodies, 3 front load chassis and compactor bodies, 1 roll-off chassis and hoist bed, 1 commercial container truck and hoist frog, 1 half-ton 4x4 pickup, and 1 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup, with a total cost of $1,298,000 after considering the trade-in value of $505,000 for the existing equipment with funding from the 2019 solid waste budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Yes, this will be our 2019 heavy equipment order. Obviously, these rear load, front load, and roll-off chassis compactors are kind of the foundation of what we do in solid waste. They're critical for our core function. They pick up trash, whether it be at the curb or at a commercial facility. I know the amount is high, and it's been, as you saw in my write-up, it's a bit higher than we have in the 2 previous years, but I vetted this list very well. In fact, I changed it, and I think saving the county some money. You might ask, well, these trade-in values on these compactor and trucks are quite high. I think that's a sweet spot for us. Number one, the used market for refuge trucks is quite robust for, smaller companies that do this business. And so I think this is kind of a sweet spot for us, because if we keep the trucks much longer, repair costs and the timeliness of repairs catches up with us. And if we do this right now, we get a pretty good trade-in value. So with that, I would be glad to take your questions.
Questions for Kurt about the RFQ?
Have none.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D2, consider approval of request to allow a sole source purchase of a global positioning system to augment a present GPS system in an amount of $13,345 from TopCon Solutions with previously approved funding from the Land Records Fund.
Good morning, Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Yes, this is a land records purchased that has already been approved. Unfortunately, that was approved at the amount of $13,345. When the estimate came in, it included a $2,000 discount because the unit was a previously used demo unit. That has since disappeared, so the $2,000 discount goes away. So I'm asking for $15,345. The equipment is important because our present GPS equipment, survey equipment, is cellular-based, and we can get to certain parts of the county and we don't get a signal. So this new equipment will augment our cellular-based equipment. It's radio-based, and it should provide, between the two, we should have capabilities of providing surveying services throughout the whole county. I have received a sole source approval. We have a revised proposal for the $15,000, and the land use committee, they have approved the revised amount. Questions?
Questions for Kurt?
I know that Becky Niosi, our Register of Deeds, is present. She serves on the Land Records Use Fund, and she's the collector of the fund.
Yes, normally, Commissioners, we would have brought this to you. However, we didn't receive it until last week, I believe. And so we did vote all in favor to approve this increase.
So it has, the revised amount has gone through the fund. With that, I would move for approval.
I'll second that.
Yeah, but note to the record, it is 15,000.
340.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E, Health Department, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-159-2019 with Baker University School of Nursing to provide facilities for on-site training for students at Baker University with no cost to the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to enter into a contract with Baker University School of Nursing. This will provide facilities for on-site training for the students. They will be allowed to participate in various activities at the Health Department as part of both their field and clinical learning experiences. We hope this will create an interest in public health for some of these students so that they might choose to enter it in, and also just allow them to see the wide range of opportunities that a nursing career can have. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
How many students do we anticipate participating?
Oh, that's a great question. I just took over the nurse piece, the nursing student piece, and I've worked with the Washburn students. I'm going to look back to Linda. Do you have any idea how many Baker usually has?
Just off the top of my head, good morning, Commissioners, Linda Oaks from the Health Department. Just off the top of my head, I'm thinking 50 or so that come throughout the year.
Really?
I mean, I think a lot of the students do choose to do a public health rotation. And so again, we have trouble finding nurses, so we're hoping to do some recruiting while we're training into public health.
Okay, sounds good. Additional questions?
None?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider approval of a request to participate in Outreach Prevention and Early Intervention Services Program funding through KDHE with a request from the Health Department of $274,650 with match dollars in the same amount to be paid from the Early Childhood Block Grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to obtain Commissioner Archer's signature for our letter of intent to participate in the Outreach Prevention and Early Intervention Services Program funding that's offered through the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. This is funding that we've had for many years. As stated, we do use this funding as a match for our Early Childhood Block Grant dollars, and our Nurse Family Partnership Program is who utilizes this funding. A subsequent contract with KDHE will be forthcoming in the near future after approval of this letter. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Has the program been effective? How do we know?
Good, great question. The Nurse Family Partnership does have many years of research based upon the research of Dr. David Olds that has proven success. That's one reason that Kansas wanted to bring it here. We are one of two programs. There's also a Nurse Family Partnership here in Johnson County. We will have our site visit with our nurse consultant in August, in which she is able to provide us with data that looks at ours compared to the state, compared to the national. And typically, a lot of the outcomes, including breastfeeding initiation, immunization rates, child development, we have had the Nurse Family Partnership Program for almost 6 years, and we typically are in line with the national level, if not above.
Very good. We're always interested in results and positive stories for the community. This sounds
Absolutely,
like it. So,
it is.
anything else? I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item F, Facilities Maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of request to enter into contract negotiations with Western Specialty Contractors for courthouse exterior cleaning, repairs, renovations, and weatherproofing.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Crow, Facilities Maintenance Director. Back in February, we had this same item on the agenda, and there were some issues with one of the bidders that requested that we start the process again, which we did. The resubmittal went out on March 20th, and the responses were due April 10th. There was a mandatory pre-bid meeting at 10 a.m. on March 27th, of which only one firm showed up for that, which was Western Specialty Contractors, who was originally selected by the Professional Services Committee in a unanimous vote the first time we went around. We did try to give the other companies some additional time that morning to show up to that. They didn't, and then later in the day, they apparently had written down the time wrong, and were a little upset that we didn't go forward and give them a chance at it. But after visiting with the county counselor's office, that's not something we normally do. Finance agreed, and like to move forward with entering into contract negotiations with Western Specialty Contractors for this work. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Bill? No. Should we approve?
I think we should.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be sitting here in July still wanting to get something done.
That was a hint for the other commissioners. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you
very much.
Next item, please.
Item G, Human Resources. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-160-2019 with First Advantage to provide Affordable Care Act compliance and auditing services to include audits of 2015 through 2018, filing, preparation, and mailing of IRS Section 6056 at a cost not to exceed $7,000 per year with funding from the Human Resources budget.
Good afternoon or morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. Affordable Care Act compliance is very important, and if there are any errors, come with heavy penalties. We'd like to leave this to the experts going forward.
Yeah, I think this is money well spent based on the past experience we've had with this administrative issue. Questions or comments for the HR Director?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank
Angela.
you.
Next item, please.
Item H, Administrative Services, number 1, Financial Report as of March 31st, 2019.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here this morning with the financial overview for March 31st of 2019. I will begin on the revenue side, and I will start with the total year-to-date revenue. Through March 31st, we had received $51,702,523. That is compared to the budgeted amount of $51,358,961. So we have received $343,000 over our budget, but this chart really does a good job of showing that, even though we've received $300,000 more than expected, it's really right in line with the budgeted amount. In fact, it's about 1/3 of 1%, so I would say we are right on budget. This chart also shows the different categories, and it really shows how much of our budget or how much of our revenue each year comes from our property taxes. I will go through each category individually. The first category is property tax revenue. We've received $45,150,606. That is $62,000 under what we had budgeted. Our March distribution came in a little lower than expected this year, so we will just wait. Our next large distribution we will receive in June, so that we'll wait and see how that comes in. It could be a timing issue. We'll just have to wait and see. But even though, $62,000 compared to the $45 million is a small percentage. The next category is other tax revenue. We've received $3,769,680. That is $38,000 over what was budgeted, so right on budget. Next is charges for services. We've received $1,536,090. That is actually $86,000 under what we had budgeted, and that's really made up of two items. Our Parks and Rec revenue is down from what was expected, but the DOC revenue is up a little bit because of their population numbers are up. And so we receive revenue from when we hold inmates for other jurisdictions like the city, the state, and such. And then our last category is other revenue. We've received $1,246,148. That is $454,000 over what was budgeted, and that is mostly attributed to investment income and penalties on taxes. So this pie chart just shows the percentages of the different categories. 94% was received through property taxes. Other taxes, 7%. Charges for services is 3%, and other revenue is also 3%. Going on over to the expenditure side, through March 31st, we have expenditures of $27,783,112. That is compared to our budgeted amount of $27,913,735. So we are $130,000 under budget at March 31st. Again, this chart just shows the different categories, with law enforcement being on the bottom. The red is Parks and Rec plus Expo Center. Green is Public Works, and the purple is Public Health, and at the top is Administrative Services. I mentioned we are $130,000 under budget, and that is 0.12%, so about 1/10 of 1%. So there again, we are right on budget. Law enforcement expenditures, we have spent $11,921,300
$87,496. That is $87,000 over budget, and that is primarily due to Department of Corrections, and mainly two areas, overtime and their health expenses. Now, you'll remember when we were talking about revenue, I did mention that their population is up, which means their expenses are up as well as their revenue. So some of that offsets each other in the net that goes into the general fund. The next category is Parks plus Rec and Expo Center. We've spent $4,460,742. That is $11,000 under budget, so right on budget. Public Works, we spent $2,492,220, which is $40,000 under budget, again, right on budget. Public Health, $3,407,365. That is right on budget. Admin Services is $4,575,448. That is $165,000 under what was budgeted, and that is attributed to the contingency fund, which fortunately we have not been able to had to use very much this year so far. And the last category is debt service of $925,841. That is right on budget. That is just the interest that we have paid for the first half of the year. So here's a chart that just shows the different categories and kind of does a good job of showing how they align with each other as far as total expenditures. And then here's our pie chart, and that shows that 43% was paid for law enforcement. Parks plus Rec and Expo Center is 16%. Public Works is 9%, Public Health 12%, Admin Services is 17%, and Debt Service is 3%. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Are there any questions?
I have a question. Our expenditures in the jail for medical, with these inmates that we're housing for other institutions, do they pick up that fee, or that's all on us?
We charge them a per diem. I was looking to see if, I guess.
Tim left.
I guess Tim left. We charge them a per diem amount, and then while they are housed at our jail, we are responsible for all of their medical costs.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? It's kind of a boring report.
Yes, isn't that nice?
I always want to have boring reports, just like that. Thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item I, Commission, number 1, acknowledge that Commissioner Archer is appointing Elaine Schwartz to the Shawnee County Planning Commission.
Yes, I am. Elaine Schwartz was my city councilwoman, and she represented her district very well. She's been active in the community for years and years, and I'm very proud to appoint Elaine Schwartz to the Planning Commission. And so I'll make a motion to acknowledge the appointment.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public, department head, to address the commission.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Inspector of Venue Management in the Kansas Expo Center. One of the most exciting events we host all year starts tonight. Cirque du Soleil Corteo kicks off this evening for 6 performances. So 1 performance tonight, 1 tomorrow, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. So if you got an open time during the weekend, I guarantee it's a show you're not going to want to miss. Yep. It's more adult themed, although a family friendly environment. And if you've got little ones, next weekend is the show for you. That's Disney on Ice Frozen. So again, back for 7 more days. So I'll be sleeping at the building the next 2 weeks. So if you need me, I'll be over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kellen. Anyone else?
Hello, Commission. Phil Bloom, Under Sheriff, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. I'll be a lot briefer than the last time I was up here. But I do have the distinct pleasure of getting to introduce our new sheriff, Brian Hill, and we wanted to take the opportunity to have him come over and meet with the commission, everybody, very briefly. And
Very good.
Sheriff.
Hello, gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here. I've known you guys, most of you, for a while. Under Sheriff Bloom's guiding me through the initial process of getting in touch with everything that I need to know, and I appreciate the help he's got, and I'm happy to talk to each and every one of you about any items you'd like to talk about.
Very good.
All right.
We look forward to working with you.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else to address the commission?
Good morning, Commissioners. Darrell Stewart, Shawnee County Parks and Rec. As we move forward with the enhancements of our parks, we wanted to announce that we'll be having our next community engagement at the Collins Park on the 22nd of this month at 6:30 p.m. We'll be addressing the NA over there in the community with the amenities we're about to install in the park.
Very good. Thank you, Darrell. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
This morning, I was going down to the doctor's office. I have a physical later and getting my blood drawn, and happened to run into your wife, Mrs. Archer.
Oh.
She gives her good wishes, and as we do for your State of the Community speech. She indicated that she was not allowed at the State of the Community speech because it might make you nervous. So I told her I would do my best to, make sure you got nervous. Top that, Bill.
I'll try. Well, I had the opportunity to work with some 5th and 6th graders from Shawnee Heights Elementary. This is a gifted class, and under Mrs. Soba. And they're taking on an interesting project this semester. They're doing a master plan for Gage Park. And it's been a fascinating process. I've been out there several times with Jim Martin. And we've been trying to steer these kids through the process. And it's really good that they're learning not just how to do this, but why. And they did just a great job at their presentation to the school board. They talked about circulation and history and open green space, and they did just a great job. I think they just knocked it out of the park, but it was fun to be part of the process. It was good.
Thank you for that report. Yes, there is a State of the Community meeting today, and like Cirque du Soleil, a good time will be had by all. And that's all I've got to say about that. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session, so we're officially adjourned. Have a good day.